Wow, some pretty major news when it comes to AI ATC for Flight Sim 2020-2024 is the Sayintentions.AI software. I've been following along for a while, and although I don't do any of the commercial airliner flying, so I'm not really utilising all of the advanced features that you can do for that, I love my bush flying. One of the biggest things that is missing is the AI-injected traffic. And Sayintentions have been working on this for a while. It was announced at the Flight Expo back in March, and pretty much within about a week, we are going to have our hands on the AI-injected traffic for Sayintentions. This is huge news. So I'm going to go through some of the specifics around that, what you need to do in order to be able to get access to those features. But this is massive, the ability to have real AI-injected traffic. I mean, gosh, you might even have to go around if AI manages to slip in before you and get your flight because you were dawdling. It is so incredible. The communications, what you hear, what you see is going to correlate. And that, even for me as a bush pilot or, VR bush sim pilot, makes a massive difference. To be taking off from an airport and seeing planes in front of me that are AI injected, and I know that those comms that are happening are from those planes in front. I've had it before where I might have had another plane take off and it's not even radioing, it's not coming through because it's not part of the world that I'm in with the AI ATC. So let's go over the specifics, but I thought I'll also couple this video with me doing some test flights out of Jandakot Aircraft Base here in Perth, Western Australia, where I'm from. It's our little small aircraft base away from the international airport, where I'm actually going to hop over the ocean to Rottnest Island. It's a small little island, not too far, probably 7 nautical miles off the coast of Western Australia, Perth. And we're going to do a little fly out to there and land at that runway. But we're going to do it in 2 parts. The first part will be with all the bells and whistles turned on, the trainer wheels holding your hand. It's basically the student pilot mode, and that's going to give you full transcription, show you all your radio frequencies, the whole box and dice. But then we're going to turn that off and switch it fully to the Pro mode. Pro mode gives you no transcription. It's not going to hold your hand. It's not going to give you all of your radio frequencies. You need to be using the charts in-game or additional charts if you're using those through other apps and mods. But you need to be looking up your radio frequencies. You need to be understanding exactly what's going on because you can't review the transcription. You need to record those notes yourself, or you need to have very good recall memory because it's not going to hold your hand. So a bit of fun, a little bit different, but we'll go through the specifics of the new updates coming for Sayintentions AI and go through also the free version of ATC that you can have for the game, so you can dip your toe in the water before you fully commit to a monthly subscription for Sayintentions AI. But I think with these new features coming, man, this is really a game changer. Let's go. Right, FS Weekend 2025. This is pretty much where they were announcing the AI traffic systems, the free ATC, multi-plan network and more. So we'll actually just scroll down here. This is on their website. You can watch this video and read this at your leisure. But in essence, the new AI traffic injection system and sequencing is their traffic system had a full rewrite, and they're calling it the AI living world. And it's designed to make every airport feel truly alive. Each AI aircraft injected into your sim is now its own individual AI pilot, and it's got unique behaviours. In practical terms, ATC is going to treat the AI planes exactly like human pilots, so there's no more user aircraft gets priority bias, which does happen. Pretty much if you radio, you're going to get priority, you go straight out. So there really is never that feeling of having to wait or any sense of urgency. Basically, you'll also potentially get instructed to go around. So if you're too slow coming in on final, which I'm terrible at sometimes, imagine that. They're actually going to say, you've missed your slot, you've got to go around. So I think that is a massive part that's missing from any of this type of AI-driven ATC. It really is missing that extra step to make that world feel real. So the system pulls real-world schedules and gate assignments to spawn traffic. This is crazy. It's going to match the actual airline operations at that airport and time. It also adapts to live weather. So if the wind's flipped, the active runway is going to change. I mean, that real-world event and sequencing is just incredible. But they haven't stopped there. They've stated the new system packs over 1,000 distinct AI pilot voices recorded or contributed by the community. So each AI pilot will even speak with the accent of their airline or region. That is absolutely crazy. I'm so excited for this. And when's it coming? Well, the AI Living World Phase 1 goes live to the partner program members on April the 15th, 2025. Now, I'll go into that in a second, but what you need to be aware of in order to join the partner program, you have to have a Sayintentions.AI account. But I think that goes without saying. You really need to be experiencing the Sayintentions.AI full bells and whistles to be able to contribute to that partner program. And I'll step through the pricing in a minute and what that entails. But the second thing I was really excited about is Open Sky. This is free AI ATC for everyone. I've got a few mates that only fly every now and then, so they just don't see the value in justifying a monthly subscription when they're just not flying that often. But I almost feel like if they started using Sayintentions AI, they might even just start flying more often because it is just so immersive. And this is a great way to dip your toe in the water. If you're not flying that regularly or you're still unsure about how this all works, you can dip your toe in the water and get exposure to the AI ATC without paying for a monthly subscription. Although don't forget, there is a free 24-hour trial for Sayintentions AI. You can download it, and from your first transmission, it starts the timer. So that is also worth checking out. Now let's jump over to the partner program and what is it? So really the partner program is a way for us, the community, to help shape what Sayintentions AI is becoming. And no doubt the voices that they've managed to acquire would have come through this sort of program. So if we scroll down, this is what you're going to get. Early alpha access, so test upcoming features like the traffic injection phase 1 and the dynamic cabin crisis system before they hit beta. Now, the cabin crisis system is pretty cool. I don't do any of the commercial airline flying, but if you do and you want to add all that extra realism, you can actually have a proper emergency. Maybe someone's having a heart attack and as a pilot, you need to make evasive decisions and get to the nearest airport, all of that sort of stuff. So that is incredible to add to that immersion. You get exclusive Discord roles, basically swag and merch, some stickers and other cool stuff. Handwritten note sealed with a lipstick kiss from Brian. So, I mean, you know, that's worth every cent, but it's only a one-time payment. So as long as you've got a monthly subscription and you're signed up, you just pay $49.95. It's going to give you access to that early beta. And if you want this phase 1 AI-injected traffic, and guess what? $50 and you are going to have it. And I am so pumped. I cannot wait to try this out. All right, so let's get into some flying and we'll do some takeoffs from Jandakot Light Aircraft Base, and we'll also then test out some of the features in Sayintentions AI.
Okay, so a quick overview. We'll jump to the Sayintentions software and we'll jump straight into the options here. We'll go to miscellaneous, and it's here that we want to adjust that setting. So student pilot is what I've currently got it set to. You can then go standard or pro mode. And this is going to turn everything on. It's going to give you more feedback, more information. You can ask it really dumb stuff. It's going to hold your hand, plus all the assistance tools are on. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So we'll jump out of there and we will open up our tablet. All of our channels and frequencies will be displayed, as well as our tail number, even the airport we're at, the airport's identifier. That stuff will not be there in pro mode, so you're expected to know all that stuff or have your charts and be able to look all that information up, plus the transcription. We'll see in a minute when I start radioing that there'll be a transcript of what's been said from me and ATC or AI here as well, and that's really handy when you're having to recount or recall information they've said to you. So it's about 6:30 in the morning. We're taking off from Jandakot Light Aircraft Base in Perth, and we're going to do a short hop to a little island called Rottnest Island. There's a little airport out there. It used to be a quite a militarized place where they've got gun turrets and all sorts of cool stuff, but that's for another day. So let's get the aircraft started up. We will get silent landings done. Magnetos, okay. Clear prop. Come on. There she goes. See the rig just sort of shimmy and wobble. I've got the motion dialed in, just perfect, and I mean you can see the rig just shuddering there with the engine vibration. So we need to tune into radio 118.1, and again it's giving us what the tower frequency is. So let's radio to tower. We'll just dial that in here. So 1181. Commit that. Okay, let's get tower on the radio. Jandakot Tower, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are ramp 97, requesting taxi to runway for departure, heading out to Rottnest Island.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, taxi to runway 30 at your discretion.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
Okay, so we've got a taxi to runway 30. Jandakot Tower, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. Understood. We are taxiing to runway 30.
Delta Zulu, clear for takeoff, departing to the east.
That's an Aussie accent.
Airbus Delta Alpha Zulu, after takeoff, engine left downwind for departure to the east.
So we're looking for runway 30 here. Where's runway 30? It's runway 12. It's runway 90. Runway 30. My goodness, we've got a trek ahead of us. So we're going to make our way down there, all the way down to there. Right, so we'll get underway and then we'll radio once we have stopped and ready for departure. So let's make our way down and then I'll radio back shortly. Okay, so we've arrived almost at runway 30, so we'll get ATC back on the line and see what they've got to say. Jandakot Tower, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are holding short of runway 30.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, runway 30, wind 230 at 7, cleared for takeoff.
Jandakot Tower, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. Understood, we are cleared for takeoff, departing out. All right, so let's go. Oh, thought the handbrake was on. It wasn't. So we'll just shrink this up now and get that out of the way. All right, we'll get half flaps.
Cleared for takeoff from runway 29. After departure, I will maintain runway course until reached 5,500. Then proceed on course 0.
We are looking pretty good. Got a little bit of cloud cover going on, and we are rolling out. This thing takes off on a dime.
Until reached 5,500. Then proceed on course 0. Thank you.
Okay, we are up and away. Okay, flaps up. Whew, already doing 110 knots. Man, this thing absolutely just moves out. So we'll just trim her out a bit here. Actually just realised I didn't have my transponder on. That is very naughty. Okay, so Rottnest Island
Condor
is
3924, runway 23 left.
YRTI. Now we could have put that into our flight plan, but it's not too far away, so I'm really just going to fly it full VFR, and we can actually just see Rottnest Island out in the distance
Experimental
there.
3 Mike Bravo, you're leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Okay, frequency change approved. Now, watch this. We're actually going to ask Sayintentions.AI what frequency we should be changing to. Jandakot Tower, experimental 3 Mike Bravo, understood, leaving your airspace. Which frequency should we be changing to?
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, contact Perth departure on 123.6 for further instructions.
So how good's that? In not
Contact ground on 121.755.
Yeah, in not knowing what to do, you can pretty much ask it what the next what the next step is. Now we can already see departure up the top there on our board, but I love it. This is what's helping hold your hand so that you can understand the basics of communication with ATC. And as you'll see there, it's already tuned that into the radio. Now, the reason it's done that is because we are in student mode. If we didn't have student mode turned on, it would not have done that for us. And all I need to do is commit that now to COM1. So that's in, and we'll now get Perth departure on the line. Perth departure, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are making our way to Rottnest Island.
Experimental Hotel 13, Mike Bravo. Perth departure, contact Perth approach for further assistance to Rottnest Island.
Okay, so now we need to contact Perth approach. Again, I'm actually not sure right now what frequency Perth approach is meant to be. So let's find out. Perth departure, experimental 3 Mike Bravo, understood. Can you please provide radio frequency for that channel? Now, normally, ATC, I'm pretty sure, isn't going to hold your hand this much. You'd probably get in a bit of trouble, and they'd want to look at your pilot's license.
You are already on the correct frequency for Perth approach.
EZ236 identified. Over Luton at 1700 feet, heading 201, QNH 1023.
Okay, interesting. Maybe I misunderstood what they were meaning there. You know, just contact Perth approach for assistance to Rottnest Island. And then they've come back, you are already on the correct frequency for Perth approach. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to Rottnest Island. So we might, in a moment, request approach to the runway. And how cool. Got a, looks like a sailing ship or something just down there to the left. Probably can't see that because I've got my my overlay set up just there, but we're getting pretty close to Rottnest now.
Osprey, 117 Alpha, clear to land, runway 18 right.
EZ236, contact London Control on 128.48.
Perth approach, this is experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are approaching Rottnest Island and requesting runway for landing. Probably should have told them how far out I am as well.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo. Rottnest Island is uncontrolled. Use CTAF 126.7 for traffic advisory. Wind 230 at 7. Runway 24 is preferred.
Okay, there we go. So you can see they have auto-tuned the radio to 126.7. We just need to commit that, and they've told us that runway 24 is preferred. So we'll just get them back. Perth departure, experimental 3 Mike Bravo, understood. We will switch to CTAF 126.7 and runway 24 is preferred. Okay, so let's commit that. We're on frequency 126.7. Let's get our map up because I'm actually not sure which runway that is. So let's have a quick zoom in here. What they say, runway 27 or runway 24. So yeah, runway 27 is preferred. And so we might actually come back around, enter into a standard pattern. Okay. Right, so we'll get that up and out of the way. So we're almost looking good here, but we could actually just cut across the center of the runway there. But this is actually a pretty good representation of Rotto. Rotto for short is what we call it, us locals. But this is pretty cool, and I've actually one-wheeled almost all the way around this island. But there's some really cool features, and this is modelled so much better than Flight Sim 2020. It really is so much better. I'm trying to think where one of the gunnery turrets is. We might actually just have a quick cheeky look and see if we can see one of the World War II gun turrets. They actually set this up with these gun turrets, and I'll actually put a picture up on screen of me and my wife. We went for a bit of a cheeky little mini honeymoon after our wedding to here. Actually, there's the lighthouse, so we should have a gun turret around here somewhere. Is that it? There it is. That's the gun turret down there. That is the gun turret. I'll be buggered. So it's not modelled that well, but good enough. Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, I guess they've sort of done it as sort of a water tank. But this was actually used as an outpost where they could attack incoming ships trying to get to Perth or Fremantle before they made it in. Traffic, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are downwind for runway 27 at Rottnest Island. Okay, so I'm just letting any traffic in the area know what our intentions are. There's actually a tram ride that they do from the main sort of hotel area that follows along the airport here up to the gunnery turrets. It's a tour you can do for $40. Oh wow, look at Perth City out there. That looks so realistic. Man, that is exactly what Perth City looks like from Rottnest. That is crazy. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Man, this really does look good. I've got all the bells and whistles turned on, and she is just looking good. Okay, so we might just back her off there a little bit. Start coming around. Traffic, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are on final for runway 27, Rottnest Island. Right, we might just go half flaps. Oh, she gets really unsettled, the Savage, with a flap change. Okay, this is modelled really, really well. Really well. And they normally have a few little aircraft out the front there that will ferry people to and from the mainland. Oof, fair bit of turbulence coming in. Okay. Just going to float her in. Float her in here. This is modelled well. I'll be damned. Okay, we're just floating in. And we're down. Okay, now it's time to do pro mode and turn all the bells and whistles off. So let's have a quick look at the Sayintentions software again. Jump to here, and we want to make sure that the drop down for ATC experience is pro mode. Now there's some other settings that we can also tweak just to optimize everything. If we go to general, auto-tune transponder, turn that off, and auto-tune standby frequency, you can turn that off as well. That's going to stop any of that auto-tuning stuff from going on and really give you the full experience where you've got to do everything yourself. So we'll commit that and jump back to the game.
November Foxtrot, request pushback and engine startup.
Thought I might give you a real quick look at the Savage Grravel. I mean, look at this thing. Isn't it just epic? I absolutely love it. It is just the most awesome bush plane. So powerful, huge Tundra tyres. Yeah, really, really cool. So let's jump in. All right, we'll get this started up. So avionics master on, landing, standby, magnetos, clear prop. Come on. Oh, there she goes. You'll see from the other camera angle I put up, just the rig starting up there. It is just the coolest feeling. And even the stick, I'm using the VP force feedback base, and you know, it is vibrating one-to-one with the steering wheel there. Steering wheel is one-to-one with the flight stick there. It is just so amazing. Yeah, the whole rig and the stick, the butt kickers, all working in unison. It's the coolest experience. So let's get open our little tablet. We'll open up Sayintentions here, and you can see it's telling us, proving that you can handle the comms. So use real world charts to get frequencies. We've got to handle the comms. Co-pilot has other duties. There are no progressive taxi arrows or follow me vehicles. If you need to remember it, you have to write it down. If you need to step away, just tell ATC. You can always ask ATC to say again, or say again but slower. Okay, that's interesting. So let's now tune to frequency and see what ATC have got to say for themselves. So we need to be on radio 118.1 from memory, but if we needed that, we'll go to our flight planner and click on the YPJT Jandakot signifier, go more info, have a look at frequencies, and yeah, Jandakot Tower is 118.1. So let's set that, and that auto commits that to our radio, or you can manually tune that there. So let's now get ATC on the line. Jandakot Tower, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are currently on ramp 97, requesting taxi to runway for departure, heading out and flying to Rottnest Island.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, taxi to runway 30 at your discretion.
Okay, taxi to runway 30. So that's the same runway that we taxied to last time. It's right down the end here. So let's make our way down to runway 30 and then radio for permission to depart out. Okay, so we might get tower on the radio.
56 right F47 X-ray gold.
Jandakot Tower, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are at runway 30 and ready for departure.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, runway 30, wind 250 at 9er, cleared for takeoff.
Okay, that's us, let's go. So we'll go half flaps.
Departure climb 5,000 feet, thank you. Turn forward golf.
Alright, throttle on. Watch this thing climb. Man, just takes off on a dime. That's only like a quarter throttle, it's crazy. Okay, flaps up. Trim the nose out. Just back that throttle off a little bit there. Oof, she just picks up airspeed so quick. We're doing 105 knots, just like that. Absolutely crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what ATC gives us and how it holds our hand. We've got nothing automatically being tuned into the radio or anything like that. So we'll actually get our little tablet up. Oh, a fair bit of turbulence coming out of Jandakot there. And I might actually just get up what the frequencies needed to be. Okay. Because if we actually have a look at Sayintentions, it's giving us nothing. It's not recorded any transcript. It's not giving us any of those helpful tips and keeping it all in that one spot so that you're not having to navigate through all the charts and maps, and you can concentrate more on the actual flying until you get better at being able to do all of that stuff collectively. It's funny, even just doing this video is giving me some training and making me more confident in actually leaving the trainer wheels turned off. Okay, so we'll keep our frequencies open there. Gosh, we've got some pretty heavy turbulence coming out of Jandakot there. I might actually radio Jandakot again and see what they say to us in regards to landing at Rottnest.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo. You're leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved. Safe flight.
Wow, there it was. I thought it was earlier beforehand, but that's interesting. Now, they've just said frequency change approved, and we've had no automatic frequency change. Nothing's happened. So we need to know what frequency to be on. And look, I'm going to ask them to see if it injects it into the radio. So let's check. Jandakot Tower, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. Understood, leaving your airspace. Can you please advise what frequency we should be tuning to? Let's see if it'll still give it to us. I'm assuming it will, because I think in real life, if you asked, Tower would probably smack themselves in the face, but they'd probably still give you the channel.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo. Contact Perth departure on 123.6 for further instructions.
Okay, 123.6, but as you can see, it's not put it in for me, so it's not given me anything. So let's now switch to, we'll just go back to Jandakot there, we'll get up more info, frequencies, and we need it to be on 123.6. Alright, so let's set that. Okay. Perth approach, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are requesting landing at Rottnest Island. We are currently at 2,500 feet and 1 nautical mile from Rottnest.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo. Landing at Rottnest Island approved. Descend altitude 1,000 feet. Report when established on final approach.
Quality 8 Romeo November. Proceed direct CI2RY. Descend altitude 2000. QNH 1019er. Until established on the localizer cleared for the ILS runway 27 right approach.
Perth approach, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. Understood, we are descending to 1,000. We will radio once on the ground. So nothing has been injected into there, and I've got to admit, I know it sounds stupid, right, but even I had a little heart flutter of not having my transcription to look at and having to remember what I've got to recite. But I guess that's part of the learning, is if you don't take the trainer wheels off and put yourself out there, you're not going to learn. So I've got my big boy pants on today, and
flight level 370.
We've done it. Okay, so let's get rid of this for now. Focus on the flying, and I mean, look at that sun coming up. It's just, I know that Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has had a lot of problems, but it is really starting to shine, especially for the flying I do. I do a lot of bush flying and or this sort of flying anyway, and it's just spectacular. It really is playing well, and it's loading up really fast too. You know, the load times were shocking there for a while, absolutely shocking, but it's been really stable, and I find Flight Sim 2024 loads up for me within, gosh, I don't know, a minute, maybe less. It's really, really quick. I know it is computer dependent, but I think as long as you're running an NVMe hard drive, you've got a reasonably powerful PC. It's gonna fire up pretty quick nowadays. So there are improvements happening. All right, the sun rises behind the city there in Perth, rising from the east. Okay, so we're just going to go half flaps. Oh, she gets unsettled. Rottnest traffic, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are on final for runway 27. Getting a fair bit of turbulence.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, runway 27 is not active. Active runways are 30, 12, 24 right, 06 left, 24 left, 06 right.
Powering on.
Please confirm your intention.
Perth approach understood. Experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We have aborted landing for runway 27 and we are going around for runway 30. Whoa, I thought we were good for runway 27 there. Okay, so yeah, that wasn't good. We'll just carry on out.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, runway 30 is active. Continue approach for runway 30 and report established on final.
Okay, well that was unscripted. Maybe I should have made my intentions more clear as to the runway. Rottnest traffic, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We are on final for runway 30. I feel like I need some sun visors or something.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, runway 30 cleared for landing.
Okay, beautiful. Ooh, we got some crosswinds happening here. Wow, she's getting rough. She is getting rough. It can get very windy at Rottnest. Oof. Oh, this is going to get interesting. Just float her in. Almost feels like we got a bit of a headwind. I guess that's what you want, really, isn't it? You want a headwind coming into land. Yeah, we do too. There's the sock. And we are down. Up, 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 up.
Viking 436.
Man, I was full left rudder there, but she just swung around. Lucky we got the big bush tyres on, so we better let Perth approach know. Perth approach, experimental 3 Mike Bravo. We have touched down at Rottnest runway.
Experimental 3 Mike Bravo, welcome to Rottnest Island. Contact ground for taxi instructions if needed.
Oh, well, there's no ground here. Bloody bumpy out in the out in the bush here though. Driving over all the rocks. I think we'll make our way over to the parking bays, and we'll shut her down. And hopefully that's given you a good overview of the differences between having student pilot mode engaged or pro mode and turning off those additional features to be injecting the elements of radio and transponder into your plane's flight controls. So there we go. we will shut it down, and we made it.
Hopefully that's given you a good overview of the Sayintentions.AI software, the differences between having all the bells and whistles turned on and the trainer wheels holding your hand, and then actually turning those features off so that you are flying as if you are a real pilot. You need to know where you're going, who you're radioing, what your frequencies are, how to look all of that stuff up, and basically be immersed with the ATC and the AI world, but without all those trainer wheels and help notes turned on. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video.